Hi everyone, I'm Kathy and my blog is The Daily Marker and I'm hosting a 30-day coloring challenge. Today is day number 1 and I'm so excited you're here. We're going to be coloring these gorgeous little birds from Tim Holtz today. So let's go ahead and jump right in. If you followed my blog before, you know that I love to color the bellies on birds and animals and things. I just think they need to have a little pink belly. So I've started here using RV10 on his cute little belly. We're making it a cute little belly. This was a really long video and I wanted to chop it down so you won't see the transitions between the colors and it moves a little quickly. So here on the right, I like to bring in a color, a darker color. Usually I always, because I'm lazy, just bring it in from one side of my images. So I'm bringing that darker color into the center and then a little bit on the left-hand side. I'm going to take the E51, just take your lighter color, whatever your lighter color is, and blend that together. I start at the line and then move my way in towards, or just to go over it. See right there? Just to blend it all out. Now I'm going to go back and add a little bit more dark because I've softened that a little bit too much with my lighter color. But I always say Copic coloring is kind of back and forth, give and take. You're always adding and taking away and bringing a little more in. Like here, I just brought in some, well, I'm going over the whole thing with a light color. Now I'm adding more of that RV10 into his belly and his cheeks. Actually, I think she's going to be a girl, so into her cheeks. And then just adding a little bit more brown again. And some more little belly touches. I'm using a 0 just to remove any residual over the line coloring and adding a little bit more brown. When you go back and add these tiny little accents with a darker color just in these little crevices, it really enriches your coloring. That is one thing I can't impress upon you enough. Now, I love to add eyelids to birds, and these are such fun birds, but I've wanted to give her some eyelids, and I'm just blending in 2 blue colors, but you don't even have to do that. And I'm slowing this down so you can see, well, I'll slow it down so you can see when I draw the eyelid part on. And I'm just adding some color on the beak here. While I proceed coloring his cute little beak, I just want to let you know you might hear my dog. So anyway, so I'm adding a line of W6 around the, not the entire bird, but like where it would be darker, I guess. So I just want to add some shading. Now I'm taking the W3 and I'm going on top of that W6 line to blend it out and to soften that very dark line. Now this lighter color I will take around the entire image. So you're watching me do that. So while you watch me do this, I'm going to share with you that, whoops, okay, I'll share in a minute. Now I've taken a third color because I want to soften out that line again. I want to have it, the edges be the darkest and then kind of be a gradient soft line, if that makes any sense. Now I'm using the lightest color to blend out that last line. A lot of times I'll just use 2 colors, but today I wanted to use more for some reason. Now we're starting on the other bird, and I used a different color on the belly that'll appear later. I didn't want their bellies to match. And then I'm using E51 again just to lay down a base coat. When you're coloring, always keep a piece of paper or cardstock or scrap paper underneath your work, because if you're using a craft mat, the color kind of bounces back onto what you're coloring. Now I've gone ahead and used some gray, and now I'm using some blue. The way I'm coloring this bird is a good example of sometimes I just wing it. I don't plan any colors, and it's you can see how eventually these colors are going to come to work together. The gray, the beige, the blue, and the pinky orangey belly. If you just work it and you're patient and you just keep going back and adding and taking away, it'll work. And I was determined to make this work. So while you watch me add a lighter color to blend it, and then I bring in some darker color again, and then the lighter again, so you can watch that. I think you don't need to hear me say that over and over. And I will tell you that about the giveaway. I have a giveaway today. Online Card Classes was kind enough to donate. They're actually going to give me several classes throughout my 30-day challenge to give away to you. Online Card Classes, I would assume that you've heard of them. They're fabulous. And they have a Copic class that's just covers from beginner to advanced. It's wonderful. You'll pick up so many tips. And I was lucky enough to be asked to guest there, and it's just really a great class, and you can win this class. So if you just go to my blog and leave a comment on the post, I'll pick a random winner. Thank you, Online Card Classes. So some of his belly got a little washed out, so I'm adding more of that. Actually, it looks like I'm adding RV10 on top of that orangey color just to wash it out a little bit. And now remember I talked about just bringing in on the little edges some darker color. So I'm doing that as well. And then we'll be blending that out again with the E51. And I'm just kind of working my way in, blending that out, not wanting to wash anything. Now, the Copic Various Blender Solution, it's fabulous. Always be sure to put the lid on right away and take that very damp rag and just work it around your image, and it'll blend the colors for you and give you a nice texture as well. And this is a great way. If you're tired of blending an image, it works great. Now you see I just pointed to my paper, and that's because you need to work on paper, not on a craft mat when you're coloring with Copics. Now I'm going to heat set these so I can move on, and I always like to dry a little bit on the back as well. That way I don't get any burn marks on my paper. Now I'm going back again and adding those little details just in the crevices, and then using my colorless blender, the 00, to remove any little stray colors, and adding some color on those lips, some nice yummy red lips. So while I've finished here, I just want to say the color challenge is, I really hope you take the challenge, and it's supposed to be fun and just kind of get back to the basics of coloring. Don't stress about it. Just have a good time and just color more. Carve out that little time for yourself during the day. I'm adding a little bit, in the crevice of that beak there, and then going back and just adding some little minor details. I just like to do this. It's relaxing for me. Now I'm outlining this other bird just like the way I did the first guy, actually girl, and so I'm using a darker color, and then I'm blending that out with a medium color, and then I'll use a lighter color. And many times I've done this with like one or two colors. I might use a B00 and then the B0000. But today I just went for something different, because that's what it's all about, just going for something different. So I'm doing I guess I'm going to keep him as a guy, and I'm doing like a nude eyelid, and I'll be drawing those on later. But I thought I would finish with the ground. I'm just doing a quick wash of brown color, and then I'll be adding some darker colors. And you don't have to use these colors that I'm using. Just do anything. You could even do gray. You could do a dark purple and then add brown on top. Anything goes. Keep that in mind. Now, I'm going to be doing the same thing with the ground in the colorless blender, so it looks all kind of nubby like dirt, granule, and give that a blow dry as well. So once you're satisfied with your bottom, I'm taking a 0.5 marker here, and I'm going to outline my image. Just take your time and move your paper and move your pen slowly, and you'll feel successful with this. This little effort is worth it. Now here I'm doing the eyelids. It's just like drawing what's like a C. You're just drawing the letter C on the eye, and it just adds so much fun. Now I'm just going around, as you can see, just outlining this image, and it really makes your work pop. So while you watch me do this, I'm going to talk a little bit more about the 30-day challenge. I just want to let you know that some days it's going to be very easy coloring, no shading at all. It's not going to be coloring like this every day. I want to have a little something for everyone, and I really just want you all to have fun and to relax and to feel successful. And maybe we'll all stretch our creativity a little bit. So I'm continuing, just going around his eyes, and you saw me do the eyelids on him as well. And now I'm going to just add some in the little crevices and blend that out with the lighter color here. These birds are so fun. Now, today I'm coloring these images, and I might another day finish this card. But before I do that, I want to add some lovely eyebrows on her. And I've colored this bird before on the left, and I added some eyelashes, but I'm not doing that today. Now every woman needs some sparkly eyeshadow, so I'm adding some Wink of Stella to her eyelids and on her beak, but I will not add any Wink of Stella to him. Always, always, when you start with a white gel pen, warm up the tip on your fingers. Once you get the ink pooling on your finger, you know you're good to go. So I love adding white accents, so I'm adding some dots to his cute little belly, and then I'm going to add some accents to the wing here. You might want to practice this on some scrap paper, but you let the dot pool and then you pull the line out. See? Dot and then swoosh. Dot, swoosh, and then you get kind of like a feather look. And I'm adding some here. It's just fun to add these little white accents. So tomorrow I'm going to share some very simple coloring. And this is it for today. I hope you got some tips. And I'm so excited for tomorrow. See you on day 2.